Well, Garrett, we're in the exact same spot as we were last year. Basically, we have this really good defense that stepped up, looked a little better than week one. Right, right, right. You would think we finally got a win out of our belts. No, we did not.
No,
This
no,
offense is
indeed.
almost as bad as last year. It might be worse. And that's because everyone's injured. It's a new offensive line. And we played two of the toughest opponents in the NFL back to back. And the schedule does not get any easier. Is there concern for the Chiefs? Is there concern for this season already being out? I know Chiefs fans are going frantic all over the internet. Why'd we pay George Karlaftis? Why don't we have a new running back? Oh, the Jawan Taylor still exists. Oh, who did you do? The offensive tush push is the most BS play I've ever seen in my entire life. We're going to talk about all that, and we might have some opinions you don't agree with. But listen, crying and whining never got you anywhere. We're 0-2. We'll take that. Love being the underdogs anyway. This is Talking Chop. Garett Amutis, my offensive line coach, brother over here. He has got some things to say this week, especially because the offensive line, Garrett, the one good thing is, at least we have a left tackle now.
At least we have a left tackle. That we can at least pinpoint that before we start. We have a left tackle. That's one little bright side.
As always, we're also joined by our associate producer, Jackson Steele. He is here as well, doing all the stats and time coding things now for you guys. He's going to be in the background, just lurking. He's also muted, and this is the second time that he's been muted when he's come on the screen.
It's been more than that. Last week, I think there were like 3 or 4. But yeah, I'm back in the shadows.
Welcome back. Always lurking, but always important.
He's such a crucial part to making this engine run and also keeping us honest. We do this live. We do it fast. And we actually do it usually in one take, guys. We don't really edit this show because, me and Garrett, we're pros. So, and also.
Yes, of course.
It's an hour long, so we don't want to edit it. But yeah, Jackson keeps us honest. He corrects our stats. And let's get right into it. Welcome back, watchers and listeners, to the Talking Chop podcast. We lost. We lost to the Eagles.
We did lose.
That's just pretty much how it is. Garrett, to start off with, though, what is your key takeaways of that loss?
I mean, look, I feel like a lot of people are going to be going out there and they're going to be blaming, multiple different people, anywhere from, Matt Nagy to Andy Reid to, Chris Jones or any of the interior on the defense. And when I take a look at that game, everyone's like, oh, we can blame so-and-so, we can blame this, we can blame, a play that was, put on the chopping block, for the ban list over the season. It didn't get passed. None of that relates to, we just had a lot of missed opportunities. I mean, when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, we have guys that were missing wide open for walk-in touchdowns. We're not adjusting at halftime to seeing what the Eagles are giving us and allowing our run game to open up more. And, in crucial moments, right? We're driving down the field. The momentum's on our side. We're just about to get in there. Goes right through Kelce's hands for an interception.
Yeah, that's
I feel like missed opportunities is really the name of the game here. Defense, they played, honestly, in my opinion, pretty lights out. They held, Jalen Hurts, who was, an MVP candidate last year, to almost nothing, right? Everyone saw that viral clip of Chris Jones, going crazy on him, saying, oh, you didn't even have 100 yards. Had 101, by the way, Chris. Just saying. But regardless of that, I think David just cut out for whatever reason. However,
don't worry, my voice is still here for the viewers who don't have it.
Regardless of that, I mean, I think defense played a lights out job. They gave us stops when it mattered, and offense didn't pick up the pieces.
See, we were talking about not editing this. Technical difficulties are our downfall, but we are going to keep that in because I'm back. But yeah, Garrett, I completely agree. It's a lot of missed opportunities. I kind of forgot about like the Kelce drop because of how many other things Chiefs fans are complaining about right now. I saw Chiefs Hive, which is one of the big Instagram accounts, literally say we should fire Andy Reid. Are we really at the point right now where we're trying to call for the head coach to be fired because we're 0-2 against two teams that were playoff teams, one of them who played in the Super Bowl, and we lost by one possession both times, 3 points both times? Like, I mean, come on. Are we serious? Like, this is not time to fire Andy Reid. Now, maybe we want some fresh faces, some new offensive geniuses to bring in instead of like some of our other coordinators. I've heard some people say our offensive line coach, Heck, may need to be on the hot seat. I don't know if I agree with that. Matt Nagy may be on the hot seat. I could agree with that maybe, but I don't know because you look at the numbers of Mahomes going down, sure, ever since Matt Nagy took over, but there's a lot of other things that have happened. As in, Tyreek Hill hasn't been here, and you know, Travis Kelce's not been the same player, and Rashee Rice has been almost injured for the entirety of Rashee Rice's career or suspended.
To play devil's advocate for the offense, right? It's like, yeah, we can blame a lot of the coordinators, we can blame a lot of the players missing key factors, but we had our 1 and our 2 wide receiver out. We had our number 4 out. Our running backs are not playing up to par as they did the last couple seasons. Isaiah Pacheco, you can tell, is just not up to the pace he was the season prior before the injury. And I see a lot of people being like, it's hard looking at these other games and seeing these offenses put out these, these lights out, numbers like the Lions putting up 52. Yeah. And my response to that, right, was, is Jared Goff putting up those same numbers without Jamison Williams and without Amon-Ra St. Brown?
And my response to that is, we haven't played the Bears yet.
We haven't played the Bears, but at the same time, it's like we need to put into perspective, right? You posted this on your Instagram. If you haven't followed the Instagram for Talkin Shop, follow that as well. Hollywood, Worthy, and Rice have not played on the same field ever, not once, right? And they've been on the roster for 2 years. So to the point where we need to be able to have our guys on the field to perform to the way we want and the way that we have schemed. And for the entire time we've practiced throughout the entire offseason, we need to have our guys out there. And obviously we're not going to be able to see that full production until after week 6 when Rashid comes back. But other than that, I just feel like we need to see better production out of our running backs. If that means, continuing with our guys like Pacheco and Kareem back there, giving Elijah Mitchell a chance, giving Brashard Smith a chance. I feel like we need to run the ball more. We need to see what we have at running back. And if that's not the case, we need to find a way to, exceed in the run game, because this is the second week in a row where Mahomes has been the leading rusher.
Yeah, and Mahomes leads all quarterbacks in rushing yards now. And I want to say this, Mahomes looks better this year than he did last year, but I think just the weapons are almost worse. And I mean, you saw so many close missed throws with Tyquan Thornton, and it's like, that was just brutal too. And it's like, yeah, Mahomes is missing a couple throws, but those are only highlighted by, like what Garrett said earlier, is just missed opportunities. A couple of these things fall our way, and all of a sudden we're 2-0. Like, if we were getting blown out, I'd be worried, but we're playing competitively against some of the top teams in the NFL. The Chargers, I think, are better than a lot of AFC teams. I think they're better than the Bengals easily, even if the Bengals had Joe Burrow. Honestly, I feel bad for you Bengals fans that Joe Burrow got injured again. Like,
yeah, you never want to see a good player like that get injured. It sucks, but I mean,
especially because they finally started the season off good and not like.
All I'm saying was, me and David talked about this before the season. We're in a bunch of fantasy leagues, and I was talking to him about whether I was going to draft Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. And what did I say in my decision to take Jefferson over Chase? I think Burrow's getting injured again.
Okay, but Justin Jefferson isn't exactly as safe as I thought he was either, because
to be fair, J.J. McCarthy is low-key a bum.
But now he's got Carson Wentz throwing it to him. He's got Carson Wentz.
It's that picture that it's that picture that circulates anytime Burrow has like some slight injury, right? It's like, they could have taken Penei Sewell and, Burrow's throwing touchdowns to anybody, but he gets sacked because they didn't take Penei Sewell, and now he has Jamar Chase open down the field like in that Rams game, but it's gone.
Yeah, well, let's talk about our left tackle that we got. Not Justin.
The truth.
That's the guy that everyone wants to sign in the secondary that we won't sign. I'm actually kind of surprised that Justin Simmons is not signed yet.
I thought he signed with the Steelers, didn't he?
Justin Simmons did? No.
I could be tripping. I thought I saw. I might have gotten sent-held or whatever.
You might have gotten sent-held. But Joshua Simmons, our left tackle, had... Well, and here's the thing, Garrett. I'm not going to lie. I did cherry pick the stat on the left. 87.8 pass block grade. I didn't show his run block grade or his total grade because across the board, all of our offensive linemen have had really bad run block.
Which is really interesting considering our history as like a run blocking team, especially with like our interior being Creed, Trey Smith, who have been known in the past as like these dominant run blockers. It's really interesting to see the downfall in that specific category, especially throughout the first 2 games. It was oddly similar with the Chargers as well as the Eagles. So I don't know if it's scheme or if it's, whatever we're practicing against, especially like, our scout teams or whatever, but we're just not getting to where we need to be, like in our run schemes. Like our fits are incorrect. Like we're not getting off like on our combos. Like, I'm not sure what needs to be fixed up front, especially in the run blocking, but at least our left tackle can protect Mahomes, give him some time in the pocket.
And that's why I think you're seeing Mahomes be more like himself in 2018 when it comes to running and scrambling and making plays later, because you have a left tackle that Mahomes can kind of just like go around and like, he can trust it and he can scramble a lot more because the left side is protected and it stays protected almost the entire game. So shout out. Also, that tackle was clutch in giving the Chiefs a chance to win the game after making a mistake. You love to see that effort, and that's why I've been saying I'm tired of re-signing Juju and Mecole Hardman. They're great players. They've had their time here. They've had their moments. I'm tired of signing guys that don't have that hunger that Josh Simmons just displayed to win the game. Too much parity, too much familiar faces. These guys already won like 2-3 rings. They're not as hungry as a Joshua Simmons who's coming in here and like, yeah, I just won a national championship. I want to win a Super Bowl the next year. And he's going to chase down Andrew Makuba.
That was a really impressive run too. He was flat-footed, standing still, and he took a really good angle. I think I saw that he had like a max speed of like 18.9 miles per hour on the track down tackle, which kind of puts into perspective. Everyone was so worried about Josh Simmons' like leg injury, and like this is the kind of plays that he's making. Not even like regarding pass blocking and run blocking. The dude made an awesome, touchdown saving tackle, and everyone's like, oh well, we're not going to draft him because he has a leg injury. I think the leg's looking pretty fine.
Yeah, this move, if anything, like makes me happy for the season. And honestly, we're going to make the playoffs. That's just a given. I'm sorry, but we are going to make the playoffs. If we don't make it to the AFC Championship,
I did see a very interesting stat, by the way, if you want to hear it. So we're 0-2. I believe since 2008, I think was the stat I saw. Teams that started 0-2 to start the season have a 12.6% chance to make the playoffs.
But we're gonna make it. It doesn't matter. I saw.
We're gonna be one of those, baby.
I feel like it's a special circumstance with this, especially with it being the two opponents we played being really hard. We get a Giants game. We'll talk about that later. And honestly, guys, the Giants game is not a free game. I know in the past they seem like a joking franchise.
They're always a very up and down team, I feel like. They have like their on games and their off games, like as we saw last week.
And former Nebraska Cornhusker Wendell Robinson just absolutely torched the Cowboys. I'm sad they lost that game, honestly. I thought they deserved to win that one. But
Brandon Aubrey's a stud, though. I mean, for being honest.
Our associate producer, Jackson Roan, just pointed out that Kelce had an 18 pass block grade. Now, I do want to talk about that, Garrett, because a lot of people are criticizing Kelce right now. A lot of people think that Travis Kelce is kind of dookie. And I will say there's a lot of plays out there where, maybe he needs more plays off because his effort doesn't seem to be as much as it usually is. Maybe he's getting tired. I don't know, but an 18 pass run block grade is horrible. So
yeah, it's so hard looking at grades like overall games, like until we have like a bigger sample size, right? And it's like, but we've still seen Kelce make these, really clutch plays even during the Eagles game, right? Like he had that shoestring grab from Mahomes that was super low, held out the ball as he was trying to get tackled. I mean, honestly, it looked like he might even tried to pitch it, but he, made the better decision and tucked it away. But we can still see those inklings of, Kelce just wanting to be this playmaker. And I'm not going to, dink on a guy for one bad pass blocking grade. Obviously throughout the season, if that's and more consistent, right, and that drop, which we talked about earlier. But if it's more consistent throughout the year, right, like we see him keep missing assignments and missing blocks, then I feel like we can address this as a problem. Guy might have just had a bad game, especially in the run blocking way. Like I think overall as a receiver, did he make a really terrible drop in a really bad moment? Yes. But there are still those moments where I can see that he wants to be better. He wants to, lead this team, to be more successful, which they know they can. I think we probably left 17 points off the board just due to like really dumb mistakes and just missed opportunities, right? Which we talked about earlier.
And I think what killed us was we had so many 3-and-out/4 and outs that like resulted in our defense having to be on the field so long, and the defense did their job. I don't want to hear a single criticism of the defense. I'm seeing way too much of it online. I'm seeing people being like, I never want to see Christian Fulton again. We paid Mike Dana this. We paid freaking George Karlaftis. I'm like, y'all, it is they're doing their jobs clearly, because if you kept the Eagles to 20 points, we need to score more than 20 points.
We held them to half the points they had in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and the defense was out there damn near the whole game. And I will say this. I will say, like, there were a couple like blown coverages late in the game, like Devonta Smith. Like that one was kind of a nail in the coffin play. And yes, it is important about making big plays in clutch moments, but still, like, the defense played lights out, and I think they did a great job. So I'm not too mad at them. We should talk about the injuries, though, because we did skip over that for the weekly transactions. Mike Dana hip, and Christian Fulton is injured again, which is brutal because we really haven't seen what he's up against or what he's about. And it kind of sucks because I wasn't a big fan of that signing. Then I was like doing the classic Veachism where I'm justifying it because Brett Veach made the decision, so it has to be a great decision. I hate doing that. $10 million and then this year and $10 million next year, he was already hurt and now he's hurt again. So yeah. Noah Williams is a god and is better. Obviously you don't know that he's going to be drafted to your team when you sign Fulton, but Noah Williams I already think is better. So
and obviously it sucks to have, injuries happen and, we can't predict those things. But like one last point, about the Eagles game, it's like we led that game in every statistical category when it comes to total yards, passing yards. I think they had us beat by 1 rushing yard. What do you think the 2 categories they had us beat on were, David?
The turnover battle.
Turnover battle. That's correct.
Time of possession.
Yep. And what are probably the 2 most important factors when it comes to the game? Turnover batter. Both of those. Turnover and, time of possession. Which that was what we talked about, last week in our game predictions, right? Like we needed to be able to control the clock more. We needed to be able to like beat the Eagles at their own game, which is, getting ahead early, controlling the clock, not letting them claw their way back into the game. And that 1 interception might have won us the game. That 1 missed kick from Butker, that 1 missed field goal, that could have at least tied us the game, gave us another opportunity to go win the game, right? It's these Butker 1 or 2 minuscule plays. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff online about people like, the tush push is so, overpowered. It's like, guys, they ran that play 7 times for 5 total yards.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a good point. I mean, it can extend a drive, but how did you get them into a situation where they needed to do that?
Like, especially near the end of the game, right? Like, we obviously tried the onside kick, didn't work. We had them 1st and 10. We needed to get the stop. First play, 9.5 yards. Like, that's the worst possible scenario, right? Against the Eagles. Yeah. It's like you tackle them at the 9.5 yard line. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to stall and run the tush push. It's like, that's what I would do if I could run that play. Right.
Well, and the other thing too is they did it in the Super Bowl. We beat them in. Like they did the tush. They had that play in their repertoire with an arguably better offensive line back then. They had Jason Kelce at center. They had a much better offensive line when they used to run it, and we were able to win a Super Bowl. The play is not an end all be all. It's not overpowered. Yes. I will say it needs to be officiated a little better, maybe because it was a little sus when I saw the Chargers game and they started like pushing them out of the neutral zone. I get that, but listen. That's not why we lost the game. The tush push is not why we lost the game at all.
It's a football play. Like I understand, like it's hard to officiate, as the announcer said on the program and yada yada yada. But that'll be fixed. You just need to stop it, right? Like there are pros and cons to every single play in football. And when it comes to that, you know what the con to that football play is? Don't tackle them on the 9.5 yard line. What I think the Eagles were the best team at controlling 10 yards of football, 10 yards of the field. They know exactly where they need to be on the field at every opportunity in the game to get in those situations, right? They practice that constantly and like over and over and over. And their wide receivers know the sticks. They know, hey, if it's 3rd down, I don't even need to get to the 1st down marker. I can get to the like 1 more yard to go, and we probably have a really good chance to continue this drive. And that's what they practice day in and day out, right? And that's why we talked about it before, keeping them out of those 2nd and short, 3rd and short situations. That's what we were really like just declining on Sunday, was keeping that, like if 1st and 2nd down was just really bad for us, because then they would extend these super long drives on these 3rd and 4th and shorts. And they're a really good team. They run their offense really well. Their defense plays lights out. And we can't have a tipped interception on the goal line and a missed field goal against a good team like that. Like that's how you lose games.
You're right. I didn't know that we had them beat in almost every statistical category except for turnover battle. I knew we lost the time of possession, but
we almost had 100 more total yards than them, and we had one less play on offense.
Wow, that's crazy. So exactly. I mean, it was a lot at the end of the game though when Mahomes was airing it out. But yeah, I mean, hey, what I will say one more thing on the tush push, we can end this to rest. Is basically, I feel like if you want to make it more fair, it is a great football play. I think it's a football play. I think maybe give the defense the ability to push each other forward too. I think that's fair. That's all I would say. I know
I don't think
it's
that's
like
illegal.
a safety. No, it is. That's why that's
Really?
why they have the complaint is that you can't. The defense can't push each other. Like they can't also do it back. So I get it. That I feel like it's a safety issue on the defense, but is it really? Just let them push each other, man.
And then again, right, like, you know, not every team has a quarterback and a running back that both squat like 800 pounds, right? So
Jackson says they had us rushing in 1 yard, though. They beat us by 1 yard.
They beat us in 1 yard, but I think
okay, but that's also because Mahomes is our running back, damn near. Yeah. I will say this: Statman Jackson, associate producer Jackson, sorry, he did put up a really good stat because we needed this. I can't even believe that this isn't being talked about more. Who are the 3 teams that made the playoffs starting 0-2 last year? 3 teams did it. So not even just like, oh, it's a 12% chance. 3 good teams did it. The Ravens, the Rams, who I love this year too. I think the Rams are a great team, and they were last year. And the Broncos all started 0-2 last year. So if the Ravens, Rams, and Broncos could do it, and the Ravens got pretty far. So I don't think it's out of the question.
Well, I think that is just about under 10%, right? Or just right about that number. That's actually pretty accurate if you think about it.
Yes, because the stat is BS. Because it's like it negates the fact that a good team is 0-2. You know what I mean? Like those were 3 good teams that were 0-2, and I feel like anybody last year could say at least the Ravens and the Rams were good teams last year. The Broncos surprised a lot of people and turned their season around, but
Broncos had some really hard fought games last season.
Exactly. You knew those teams were good, and you knew those teams were playoff caliber teams. So I think the 12%, while yes, technically true, is still a little BS of a stat in terms of like evaluating, is the Chiefs season over? Is there a 12% chance that the season's over? Yeah.
Well,
no.
you know, that I don't think I was leaning towards, you know, like,
no, I'm
we only
saying
have
the other
but,
people online.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you. People online are running with that stuff, but yeah. Let's talk about some more transactional stuff, and then Garrett, I think you have an ad segment for us. But transactional wise, Xavier Worthy might play this week, and I don't like that.
I don't think we
rushing
should.
him back. I don't like it. But
I think if there's any game to like kind of push him away and keep him out, I think it's this one. Like that's still probably the one game we have like for him to be like, you know what, Worthy, take a chill pill. You can probably relax. You know, I understand.
It's a pain management thing. He's going to be hurt the whole season. It doesn't matter. Like his labrum is still torn.
Maybe he just has to get used to it. Throw him out there, like, hey, this is again how you're going to have to play. So you might as well figure it out now before we get into the nitty gritty.
Because he's going to have to get surgery in the offseason. Like, but he's going to play through it as long as he can. I don't like doing that, dude. I get it. Like, you want to go all in this season. And I love how we try to go in all in every season. But at some point, you have to manage a young kid who's like younger than us, Garrett, who's going out there, who has a long, bright future with the Chiefs. I don't want him to have a permanent injury and then he's never good again, because that's just, I would rather him be healthy. We have other people who can step up. I know wide receiver is a position of desperate need right now, but look, if we can get to week 6, I think all these problems magically disappear. I think people forget how elite Rashee Rice really was weeks 1 through 3 of the NFL season last year. He was on a tear. I am trading for him in every single fantasy football league possible, because once week 6 hits, I know I won the freaking league, because Rashee Rice is a wide receiver 1 at my flex, because he is going to put up 20 fantasy points a game minimum. But yeah, I don't worry once we get to week 6. I still worry because let's look at the schedule, Garrett. Let's take a look at that schedule. It ain't pretty.
Yeah, it's a rough one. But like, before we go into that, right? It's like I talked about before with, you know, our 1 and our 2 wide receivers out, right? It's like, you know, the Bengals beat, you know, the Jaguars, you know, over Sunday, right? And it's like, if we took out Jamar Chase and T. Higgins from the Bengals, right? I think they had a combined 220 yards of offense. Take those away. How are the Bengals doing right now?
That's a fair point. If you take out the 2 best weapons on a team, their production goes down. And I mean, Hollywood Brown, is getting wide receiver 1 targets. But I should have put targets on this graphic because I think Hollywood almost has damn near 30.
And and obviously we're not saying our weapons are on the same caliber as T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I'm just saying those are our top guys, and if we take them away, it's obvious production loss. So let's just take a back burner. I can't
believe Kelce only has 6 catches.
I mean, I can kind of see it. He's been
but 100
slow
yards is still pretty solid. Like he's getting more deep targets. This feels like scheme issues to me because all these are chunk plays, which is funny because it's a thing we were complaining about last year is we didn't have chunk plays. Now we only can move the ball in chunk plays. If you look at these numbers, it's pretty much chunk play.
15 for 21 is not bad for Hollywood.
Well, I mean, 15, but he's the only one who's not getting chunk plays. And then I know he had a huge catch that really inflates his numbers from that Chargers game. But he is getting like the pinnacle of like, dink and dunk. We need a true slot wide receiver, and that's Rashee Rice. And that might be Jalen Royals. I think when Jalen Royals comes back, you won't even need Worthy as much because Jalen Royals is a slot receiver. And Tyquan Thornton is great outside receiver, and he's going to be such a nice compliment when he's not getting covered by.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we hit a couple more of those passes that Mahomes overthrew, and like his numbers skyrocket. Right? It's what we talked about before with missed opportunities. All these guys have had missed opportunities.
But the thing that sticks out to me the most too, maybe 2 things. 1, Noah Gray, give him the ball, please. Like, are you kidding me? Like, only 2 catches for 4 yards, like ridiculous. And he's
I haven't
had,
even really
6
seen
targets.
him on. He hasn't been on the field that much, which has been odd.
And then 2, Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, give them. We are the team that loves to throw it to our backs out of the backfield. What happened to that? And like we have a Brashard Smith who maybe he deserves more playing time so he can be a Jerick McKinnon type back. Like quick out of the backfield throws would be nice to put back into the offense. I get it. You have more time in the pocket now and you want to throw it deep again. Why not go back to what was working before, which is quick throws to your running back to get some yards and maybe make a more 3rd and manageable or a 2nd and manageable.
And the thing is, even with that kind of scheme problems that we talked about, right? It's like if we take a lot of these lower level receivers for what we have right now and just implement a lot of quick game, like we're not going too deep down the field, which I think was a big problem. On Sunday was we were trying to test so far down the field with guys that really aren't up to that caliber yet. And I feel like if we open up, at least go for the sideline passes, just very quick stuff, that'll open up the interior to allow us to run the ball significantly more as well. And I feel like we go too far on one end of the spectrum where we're either always going to be passing a drive or we're always going to be running a drive. I feel like there's no balance where we can really go back and forth and keep the defense guessing. Whereas the Eagles did a really good job of that and just keeping us on our toes, whether that's running it to the outside, stretching those zones or, cutting it back inside on these really nice counterplay. I feel like we don't stretch the field. We stay in one area at a time and we stick with that until we get stopped.
Yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of that will maybe change for the Giants game. I hope some more experimentation happens. I just hope we just run the ball. I just want to see Pacheco get more than 10 carries in a game. I would like to see him with 15 to 20. I'd like to see Kareem Hunt with 10 in a game. Go back to running the football. I mean, I'm okay if Mahomes, who is on pace to be an 1,000-yard rusher, I'm okay if Mahomes does 1,000 yards rushing this season. That would be crazy. Because think of the storylines, Garrett. The only 1,000-yard rusher in Mahomes' career would be Patrick Mahomes. Would be hilarious. Yeah. That's the only person.
Yeah.
But
I just I feel like it might be a little difficult to run too much on the Giants. I mean, they got Dexter Lawrence back there. They got Bobby Okereke. Yeah. They have Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, they've got a pretty solid front. They've got a really solid front seven. So I think this defense matches up really well with their offense, especially with the skills that we put out currently. So I think this is going to be a bit more of a struggle game than a lot of people are predicting. I feel like everyone sees the Giants. They're like, oh, this is going to be a walk in the park. I don't think this is going to be one of those games.
I think our defense is going to hold them to under 20 points.
Yes.
I think our defense might hold them to under 10 points, but I think their
Can our
defense is
offense
going to
put up
hold
some
our
numbers?
defense. Dude,
You know,
their defense on paper and in execution, by the way, I know that they just had like a barn burner shootout with the Cowboys, but sometimes those games just devolve into that. It was initially a lot less high scoring, and it was definitely like more of a, defensive focused game.
Yeah.
But they sent, and I am scared of them doing this to us, and they will do it. And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, Garrett. We're definitely getting ahead of ourselves. But Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau all on the field at the same time on a third down, know it's going to be a pass situation, all three of them rushing, it's over. Like, we're not going to be able to defend that, I don't think, because those three guys
what's
going to
happen? Yeah, what's going to happen is they're going to put their two best guys obviously on the outside, and they're going to put probably their second best guy on Kingsley, and that's going to be the matchup that we're going to have to look for come Sunday night. I feel like Kingsley is developing as a guard, yes, but his pass blocking has not been phenomenal. I think he's led our team in pressures every week, and I understand new position, moving the guy around, but that's what defensive coordinators look for when they're scheming against teams, right? It's like, where is the weakness on the line in the trenches that we can exploit? And right now, that weakness is Jawan Taylor on the outside and Kingsley on the inside. So I expect a lot of interior pressure, a lot of stunts, a lot of blitzes, especially through that A gap.
Especially with the guys they have, they can run a lot of stunts inside. It's going to be tough.
What I could see them doing really is
they
putting
have Dexter Lawrence too, dude.
Yeah, I feel like I could see them putting a guy like Brian Burns or Thibodeau on Josh Simmons and having that kind of be like smoke and mirrors and finding a way to like slant out, make sure Simmons takes a guy that's not going to be making a lot of plays and getting those one-on-ones on Kingsley. I feel like it's going to be a really low scoring game, which I hate to say, but
I agree.
I think it's going to be a really, really grind slugfest for a Sunday night game. It's going to be two offenses that are struggling at the moment against two pretty solid defenses.
I don't know, Garrett. They put up 37 points against the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, gosh, dude, I don't want to say I could see us losing to the Giants, but I could totally see us losing to the Giants just because of the way we've played so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a lot. I just think at the end of the day, it's going to be a one-score game, and Russ is not going to be able to. Okay, yes, I see. Jackson is trying to tell us is Danger Russ back? He did have 450 yards last week, which is
he did ball out. This
record.
is very true.
It's the most passing yards that Dangerous Russell Wilson has ever thrown in his life. So I don't think he ever does that again, though. Sorry, there's no way he does that to our secondary, who already improved in one little week. Like, they must have had a stern talking to because they balled out against the Eagles. But we're gonna get home too. We're gonna get pressure. Cowboys can't get pressure. That's the problem. You give you give Russ Wilson enough time to sit back in the pocket, he will dice you up. But we're gonna get pressure.
Luckily, I think our defense is gonna hold up pretty well. I think the only big matchup that we're gonna have to see is probably Malik Neighbors or Wan'Dale Robinson against our DBs, which has been our. We were surprised because I feel like a lot of people expected our weak point to be like our rush defense, and so far they've done decently well. Obviously, not nearly up to the same production level we saw last year, but I still think getting rid of Mike Pennell was a terrible idea, but that's a different rant.
Go watch the last week's episode, and we'll tell you everything about that. But
I feel like Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson are really going to be our only big threats on Sunday night against our defense, and if we can contain those two, I think we can play pretty well. I don't think Scatabo is going to be a guy that we really need to worry about too much. I feel like running backs that have a lot of like burst speed have been like our downfall, and Scatabo is just not that guy.
That's true. It's the guys that can get, because I feel like our initial pressure is really good, but it's just like our secondary tackling has not been as good. Ever since L'Jarius Sneed left, like we really haven't had secondary players who have made stops.
Scatabo, he leads with his head and he's a little bit of a bruiser. So I could see him, laying down a good broken tackle or two, but I don't think he's going to torch us like Saquon did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we're already like knee deep in this conversation. So let's continue the Giants talk, and then we can touch onto the Chiefs schedule season. We'll get to score predictions in a second, but I mean, I still think this is a get back game for us to get our confidence back. I think it's going to be a way tougher game to get our confidence back, but I saw a take by some ESPN analyst. I don't even know his name because he's irrelevant, but he was just basically, he works for a New York branch of ESPN, and he was basically saying like, "Oh, I don't care if I lose my job. We're going to watch on Sunday Night Football the NFL rig this game for the Chiefs because they can't let their golden team go 0-2." And I'm going to say this right now. These last two games have not felt very rigged in our favor. I'll say that. But I just can't believe that we have like this narrative still, and it's ridiculous. And I hope we drop 15 or 30 point differential on the Giants, but we'll see. I mean, it's more likely we're going to win by 7, and there's going to be so much doubt in play anyway. But it needs to be a confidence game for sure. Like the team needs something.
I mean, I feel like we could have had some fun storylines going to this game. It's like Jalen Hyatt versus Xavier Worthy type stuff with like Texas wide receivers going at it. But when it comes down to it, I feel like as you said, get back game. If we can eliminate missed opportunities, missed throws, turnovers, I feel like we can be really successful, and we could probably put up, a 15-point differential if we play the football that I know we can. But at the time, it doesn't seem like our receivers that are out there on the field right now have a ton of confidence. We're making a lot of really bad drops. People are getting frustrated because, this is the first time it's been a 3-game losing streak in Mahomes' career, right? Like the Chiefs, or if he counts the Super Bowl. For the Chiefs organization, this is brand new territory, right? And for guys like Travis Kelce and Chris Jones that have been staples on this team forever, like this kind of streak is unheard of to them. So I understand the frustration, but we just need to batten down the hatches and play the football that I know we can go out there and do, and we just need to put the Giants away. Like we can't let we cannot
Sunday night game.
Yeah. That's what's kind of crazy to me. I like, of all the games that we played so far, this is the Sunday night game that they had us play. But regardless, I just think we can't let this become a trap game because
it is. It already is.
It's already. I know. I respect them, but like in terms of morale, right?
Yeah.
The difference between losing and winning this game is going to change the entire course of the season.
You're right. Absolutely. If we lose this game, which is, I would say, a very possible scenario.
Yes, it is.
This season is going to test a lot of people, and I think that would be good for the organization and for the future, because you can get content by having a lot of sameness in your organization, and sometimes you need a little punch in the gut. And I hope 0-2 is a punch in the gut enough, but
I mean, if we look back to a star-studded season where we beat both Super Bowl opponents with the Patriots and the Eagles way back when, we also lost back-to-back weeks to the Giants and Jets, right? So
yeah,
losing to teams, even especially back then when the Jets and Giants were terrible, right? Any given Sunday. So I just feel like we need to go out there, have our solid game plan, figure out what we need to do in the run game that works for us and fits our scheme and our players currently, and just get past the Giants. And I feel like we'll be able to right the sails and just get our shit moving in the right direction.
Yeah, maybe run the ball more than 15 times with a running back. That would be ideal, because we need to get someone going. And you know what?
Now, they were stuffing our run game like crazy, though. I will give them credit.
I'll say that. Yeah, the Eagles were stuffing our run game like crazy, but the play action doesn't work if you don't run the ball. I think a great example of this is the Chargers. The Chargers with Amari and Hampton, who hasn't yet broken out yet. They still give him the ball.
A ton of carries.
No matter what. He's not doing anything with them, but they kill.
It's the threat of running.
They kill teams on the play action. Like watching the Chargers play action game, I'm like, oh, I would dream of Mahomes to have play action game. I would dream of them to fear the run so much that they would.
But yeah, it's like you said, right? Like we are treating play action as just another pass, right?
Yeah.
Where it's got to be run first, man. Like they got to have the threat to the run for them to bite on the play action. It's kind of the whole point of the action.
Yeah, I feel like we do play like we're behind the last two games. It felt like we've been playing like we've been behind the whole game for both of those. And I think we need to play like we're here to set a tone, we're here to burn the clock, and we're here to play ugly football. I get it. People want to be flashy again, but flashy didn't win us Super Bowls. Flashy got us D-Ford offsides and, the need to fire our defensive coordinator and get a new one, and then we won Super Bowls. So
and losing 54-51 to the Rams.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we lost. That game was surprisingly defensive for the score though, because like I think there was like 2 or 3 defensive touchdowns in that game. So
Such a good game.
that was an all-time game. My favorite one we've lost. But all right, let's score prediction this puppy right now. We already said low
God.
scoring. I'll give it to you real quick. I think the Chiefs put up a measly 23 points, and the Giants put up a measly 13 points in a really ugly, kind of boring, but has some fun play Sunday night football game. Won't be boring for us because we'll finally have a win on the season, but I think it's just going to be a lot of defense. And to the boring allegations, I personally love a defensive game, but I know to other people, like they just want to see points put up on the board. I think there will be a lot of tests for this offensive line, and I can't wait to see them. I really want to see if Josh Simmons can continue having clean sheets. He didn't week 1, but I want him to have another clean sheet this week. So
yeah, I think I'm going low scoring as well. I could see us, getting up into the 30s if we, play solid football and do the right things. But I feel like with what we're doing right now, and the opponent we're facing, I think like 17-10. I think that's I think that could be it's going to be really grueling. It's going to suck, but I feel like that's the score that we're going to have, just due to the offensive production that we've put up before. And if you want to, follow us into that, go on to Underdog Fantasy and, put those scores on yourself. Use code CHOP or Talkin CHOP, not a G, even though you guys could do that, but respect the name. It's Talkin, not Talking, for a free $50 when you play for 5. You can use our score predictions or your own. Just do it on Underdog Fantasy.
But yeah, let's go into the rest of the schedule now. The final little bit of this. Garrett, this is where you were talking about here, the trap game of the Giants. It's sandwiched in between Philly and Baltimore, and we already came off a Chargers game. You had 2 hard games to start the season. You have what should be an easy Sunday night opponent, but it's in front of everybody. It's a Sunday night game, of course, prime time. And then you got the Ravens next week, and you might try to look ahead, but maybe we would have if we weren't 0-2, because now it's focus only on the Giants. Going out of this, I genuinely see only one more quote-unquote free win for the rest of the season, and that would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Respectfully, they have not gotten anything that I don't think later in the season they'll have it figured out. They haven't gotten anything clicking. They have way, way, way too many targets for Brian Thomas Jr. that have just not connected. And I would love for the Jags to be good because I've invested heavily in them in fantasy. So please, Jags, figure it out. But that's the only free win I see from here on out, because it's Lions. That's going to be a hard one, but it's at home. Raiders, they always give us a tough one. And I think that they are a much better defense than they have been in the past. They held the Chargers offense pretty well, all things considered. And I love what they've been doing on defense for the Raiders. Their offense is horrible though. And they have showed Chargers defense might be good, but their offense has just not found their groove yet, but it can. They have Jacoby Myers, who I like, Brock Bowers, who I like, and Genty, who I love. So I think they'll figure it out. Commanders is going to be hard. Bills away. Oof. Broncos have been really good this year.
I will say, I think it's really good that we have the Broncos after a bye. I think that's going to be really important. I feel like our bye opponents of past have been not as crazy important, but obviously having a division game after a bye is super important, especially since we're going to be in Denver.
And then it's the Colts, who, if you told me that we had them on the schedule, I would be like, cool. But now I'm like, Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes is going crazy, dude.
Danny Dimes in Arrowhead. I mean, he has a lot of weapons. You got to respect the weapons they have. That wide receiver core is deep, and they're all pretty solid.
And Jonathan Taylor has resurrected from the grave, apparently.
And they have Tyler Warren, who is the easy front runner for Rookie of the Year right now, because he is just
a really good player.
I can't believe the Bears chose Colston Loveland over him, who has 1 catch, by the way.
The Bears, classic. That's my second team, by the way.
I say Dallas definitely is one of those you might consider a free win, but they actually have a lot of offensive power. And at this point in the season, when we play the Cowboys, I think they'll be a lot healthier, and I think they'll be a lot better. So that's no free win, I don't think. And then the Texans, we know they're a playoff team. They're good. Chargers, They're not a free win. They beat us. The Titans are never a free win for the Chiefs. I think we have too many new Chiefs
Kryptonite,
fans.
dude.
I think we have too many new Chiefs fans to know that the Titans,
Colts and Titans are our kryptonite, dude.
Right, dude. The
Colts and Titans.
The Colts are also our kryptonite, and now they are good. So that's going to be fun. I know week 2 overreactions. When we were just joking about the Saints, first 2 weeks of the season looked amazing. The Colts could be the Saints of last year, but I don't think they will be. The Titans are going to get us, dude. The Titans are going to be a tougher team than people think, and Cam Ward is going to have 15 more weeks to figure it out by then. So, and I think they're gritty and they got some hope. They have hope. Denver for Christmas, Denver for Christmas, and then Raiders to finish it off. Yeah, we have to start winning now because this schedule is not going to be forgiving.
It's a tough one.
This is to me, and I'm going to say this right now, and I know Chiefs fans aren't going to like this. Realistically speaking, and this is no disrespect, I think we can win the Super Bowl, but we are going to be a wild card team who wins the Super Bowl. We are not going to be the 1 seed. That is, all dreams of that are out the window right now. But I still think we can win the Super Bowl as a wild card team. It can be done. I am not abandoning the season, but mathematically speaking, this is a very hard schedule and they have to turn it up. But once you get Rice back, dude, I think it's all gas, no brakes, as Steve Sarkisian would say.
I mean, knock on wood, once we have, Worthy, Rice, and Hollywood on the same field, I feel like we're going to be putting a lot more points on the board. I mean, who knew, right? But I feel like once we get those guys back, we'll be able to open up the run game more, get Pacheco back to where he needs to be. I feel like he's still just... I don't know if he's not 100%, but he doesn't have that same pop, where he got his nickname from of years past. So I just feel like once he finds that rhythm back, I think we'll be ready to go.
Well, then do we want to talk about, for the final little part of this, do we need a running back? People have been saying it. I don't think we need one yet, but everybody's like, we need to trade for Breece Hall. Guys, the Jets are still in playoff contention. Yeah. They're going to keep Breece Hall. What?
Yeah, dude. Let's just trade for this really good running back, guys. They're totally gonna give him to the Chiefs for nickels and dimes, which is what everyone is gobbing it for.
They want to pay him because he's good at football. They know he's.
Yeah, no, I don't think we need to look elsewhere for running back. I feel like with the options we have, we've got guys that haven't seen the field yet that might see significantly more snaps in the coming games, like Rashard Smith, but. We'll have to see.
Jackson just gave me a really good stat, and I'm glad I pulled that out of my ass. He said no 0-2 team has ever got the 1 seed, and I did say it's almost mathematically impossible with our schedule. So yeah, no miracles here, guys, but I still think we make the wild card and can compete. This division's hard. The division's hard, and you got to respect it. They finally all did it. The AFC West finally figured it out, and I knew they would, but this season especially. But yeah, I don't think we need to go crazy for a running back. I don't think we need to go crazy for a wide receiver. I'm a homer for DeAndre Hopkins and watching him on the Ravens be good now that he's fully healthy, quote unquote, because he might have been hurt while he played for the Chiefs. Watching DeAndre Hopkins look like his old self again has been amazing. Yeah. And I wish we had him for this stretch of games, but I don't know. I still wish we had him.
What's crazy? What's crazy though is that I just remembered this randomly. Is we almost played Breece Hall in our state game for high school.
Really?
Because Derby beat Wichita Northwest, and if Wichita Northwest had won in overtime, we would have played Breece Hall.
Our senior year or our junior year when we
year we won state, we would have played Breece Hall.
That's crazy. Yeah. And we would have had a Texans quarterback, which makes us look younger. Honestly,
I know
our state quarterback just got to the NFL in Graham Mertz, but honestly, Graham I think has used every single. He
had that COVID year, and he had those extra red shirts, but really happy for Graham. He's been a dog and he's been a grinder, so I'm really happy he found a spot on Houston. Man.
Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I decided to edit the video after all because my camera has just decided to crap out on me. It said we've talked too much chop. It's time to focus on the Giants game. It's time to get a win in prime time. Please, please, please comment below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Look at the Talkin Chop Instagram and follow it because it's a beautiful mastermind of creation. Please go.
And give us your score predictions as well.
Yes. And also 5-star rating on the Spotify podcast. It helps us out so much. Listen to us in the shower, in the car, while you watch the game. I don't know why you would do that. Please don't do that. We might have some live streams in the future where we can watch the game with you guys. We're still trying to schedule that out. Obviously, Garett has Friday night lights that he always has to play, or he doesn't play, he coaches. And I always have work in the weekends because I work in sports. So we'll try to make it work with our schedules, guys. My camera's going to work better next week. But thank you guys so much for watching.
And as always, we're just talking chop, baby.
We're just talking shop. And we're just going to beat the Giants, even though I'm scared. See you guys.